welcome to another episode of Voice of a Niner Faithful. My name's Jason. I'm your host. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about some transactions this past week, who we got, who we dropped, and of course, finally we get to talk about a game. Yeah! Of course, it's only preseason, and I'm going to premise that right away, right now, right off the bat. Preseason. This is letting the new guys try to get a position on the team. This is letting the veterans who we signed, hey, let's see if we can get you a spot on the team. This isn't any of the main players out there. This is just preseason. Let's not take it super serious. Yes, it's nice that we get to watch a game. Yes, it's nice we get to see some of these new guys in action. But that's mainly what this is for, so the coaches can see how they play, what they can use improvement on, who they might end up having to cut, because eventually we do have to get down to that 53-man roster. So keep that in mind. So with that said, let's get into it. So we had several transactions happen this past week, and I just happen to have this up. So back on the 5th, we signed the offensive line Lewis Kidd. Of course, we had to drop somebody, so offensive line Pat Elfman on the injured reserve list. Then the next day, really big signing, at least to me as a fan, Matt Breida. We brought him back for a 1-year deal. Breida the Cheetah. Hopefully, he still has that speed, or at least some of it. We'll see how that goes. He did play in the game. So we'll talk a little bit about that when he got in. But we had to release wide receiver Malik Turner, put him on the injured reserve. 49ers also signed the next day wide receiver John Trey Krillin and running back Keyshawn Vaughn to 1-year deals. And we had to let go of Eric Harris, and we waived injured wide receiver Tariq Owens. Tariq Owens, we all know, is the son of Terrell Owens. And I hope he ends up on our practice squad at least. And I think it'll happen, but we'll see. I mean, other teams will have a chance before we have a chance to get him back on the practice squad. I hope it happens. We'll see what happens. The next day, we signed Tracy Walker III to a 1-year deal and had to put, unfortunately, Drake Jackson on the reserve physically unable to perform list. I feel for that kid. I liked him. I still like him. I just he just keeps getting that injury bug, and he's going to be out the whole year. That's crazy, but it is what it is, unfortunately. So I hope we keep him. I hope he sticks around, and the 2025 year will be his year. He showed, and he did show so much promise. I really hope he shows up and is healthy and is good to go next year. The next day, we signed defensive line Jonathan Garvin and punter Presley Harvin III. The punter got some action in the game because Wisnowski is a little hurt, but I understand that he will be fine for the regular season. We just signed Harvin, so we have a punter during the preseason games. And we had to let go of Austin Bryant and put him on injured reserve and release tight end Logan Thomas. So big stories: Tariq Owens and Drake Jackson. Drake Jackson, again, like I said, I wish him the best. I hope he comes back stronger in 2025. It's just sad. And Tariq, I hope he shows up on our practice squad. We'll see. and we'll go from there. So, another thing that happened, now that we can start talking about the actual game, woo! So, talking about the regular game, there was something weird. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know about it until the game started and they actually said it on the air. But Kyle Shanahan didn't call the plays. Clay Kubiak called the plays, and it's the first time that Kyle Shanahan hadn't called the plays in any game since he became head coach. So that's kind of I'm not sure where that came from. Maybe they just said, hey, you know what? It's preseason. Let's see how somebody else calls the plays. Maybe Shanahan's grooming him for something more later on. But I thought Clay Kubiak did all right. Obviously, he didn't call the defensive side. Our new defensive coordinator did, and he did okay too. But yeah, it's interesting that worked out that way. I don't know why the Shanahan chose to do that. But again, it's just preseason. Let's not look too much into it. See how it goes. So, game 1 of the preseason. Lots of notes. Let's start it off. The first offensive series. We had the ball first because the Titans won the toss and let us get the ball first. It was an awesome first series, plain and simple. Allen had good passes. Even Bell, when he was throwing the ball, bobbled a little bit, but he did catch it, and so I'm happy with that. Pooney, Pooney push to Mason. That was awesome. That was an awesome call. I like the commentator saying the Pooney push. Pooney did awesome. I watched him. I was pretty specific about keeping an eye on him the whole game while he was in, and he did awesome. Mason, awesome runs for Mason that series. I foresee him just from what I saw of all the running backs, even Breida throughout the rest of the game. I think Mason did the best. So I think Mason's going to get that RB2 as of now. Again, this is the first game of the preseason. Still have 2 more preseason games to go and other just basic practices and such. But I think clearly Mason is in the lead. So that first series, again, Allen, great throws, a few high, but one of them was a drop, should have been caught, and he had another drop that should have been caught later on. So his numbers should have reflected those if they were caught. So Allen did really good. Mason again, awesome job on that first series. And then you didn't see him again. Got the touchdown. Defense, the kickoff. Once we kicked it off, I think that's the best return that I've heard about from any team with the new kickoff rules. And unfortunately, it was against us. Bad tackles, horrible angles to try to get him. And then, of course, we throw in a penalty to boot. And it wasn't even on a player. It was on I would think it was on a coach. Something about maybe their foot was on the sideline, on the field, or something to that effect, where we ended up after the run plus the penalty, the Titans were already in the red zone. So, Rock Ya-Sin had a good defense in the end zone on that. So good on him. He did really good. Ambry Thomas got a holding call, which definitely did not help us at all. I understand Ambry Thomas, he did get hurt later in the game, but when he was in, I do not think he was that effective. So I hope for his recovery quickly. I know it was a broken arm, I believe, and I know that takes time to heal. I hope it heals quickly. He comes back stronger. Uh, keep hitting the film, watching what you could improve, Ambry, and come back stronger. But for this game, while you were in, I didn't think you did great. So they got the touchdown. Second offensive series, Conley. Conley had an awesome catch. But then Schrader, the running back, he did not do so great, and it ended up being a 3-and-out. We kick off, and bad tackles again. That's the way of special teams this game. Bad tackles. Our second defensive round, D. Winters had a tackle for a loss. Awesome on D. Winters. He's doing great. He did get hurt in the game, but he came back in, so that's a plus. But then the very next play, bad tackles again, and that was when D. Winters did get hurt after the play after he got the tackle for loss. And trouble, we had big time trouble stopping the run. Odom saved a touchdown, and then there was a penalty. So penalties weren't our friend this game. This game either. So let's hope we can work on that in the next couple of preseason games. But Odom did have the saved a touchdown. So good on Odom. The third offensive series, Schrader came back. The running back Schrader, he came back and had a good run that time. Tay Martin dropped a ball that should have been a PI. We all saw it, but it was still catchable, and he should have caught it. He did. Tay Martin did really good the rest of the game, though, so he made up for it. It was a 3-and-out, unfortunately, though, so we jump back to our third defense. We had some bad tackles again. Surprise, surprise. Can't seem to stop the Titans on the run or pass on that round. Winters came back in during that series. Kalia Davis, sorry, tackle for loss, which was awesome. But then we had busted coverage. Then we had a great play. Then we had a bad play. More sloppy tackling. Robinson had a good tackle for a save to TD. And then, of course, Mustafa Ali. Great hit. Stopped on a 4th down. Stopped him from the touchdown. Was awesome. Mustafa did great all game. I can't say enough about that kid. He did really good. Pooney did really good. I think those are two great pickups. On our fourth offensive series, great 3rd down long pass to Darby. Martin did good. He had a great catch. And then, of course, we got sacked. And that sack ended up killing that drive, and we had to punt it away. That our temporary punter got some good punts in. Fourth defensive round, Green, he was just bouncing around that whole series, one place here, one place there. So Renardo Green had got some good experience that round. Unfortunately, there was a lot of horrible tackling. Again, one of them, Ambry Thomas. Again, I'm going to just reiterate that. I'm sorry he got hurt. I hope he gets healthy fairly quickly, but he didn't do good this game anyway. I don't want to sound like I'm digging on him because I don't like it when anybody gets hurt during the game. But with that said, yeah, he wasn't doing very well anyway. First half overall, Allen did pretty good. He would have had better numbers if he didn't. There weren't 2 drops. So keep that in the back of your mind. At the end of the first half, I was thinking Allen had the better chance at QB2 because I still haven't I hadn't been impressed at all by Dobbs up to this point because he'd have that really great game and fight with someone and then he'll have a horrible game or two horrible games and come back and have a great game and he's too up and down. Excuse me. So the other thing from the first half, defense, too many missed tackles, defense and special teams, just way too many bad tackles. And again, this is preseason. This is the time to catch those, fix those, make corrections. So let's hope that happens. All right. Beginning in the second half, starting on defense, Mustafa Ali, another great tackle on the kickoff. Bethune, I'm probably slaughtering his name. He had a really good tackle. So far, also, I put a note in here saying I haven't seen a lot of pressures on their quarterback. Again, this is the time to notice these things, make corrections. But first half and up to this point, not a lot of pressure on their quarterback. Garvin, the guy we got from Green Bay, he had we got the turnover that time. It was that's when we got the turnover. Renardo Green, he got the ball on that turnover, but Garvin had a hand in that whole thing. So good for him. Fifth offensive when we got the ball back. Unfortunately, we didn't do anything with the ball when we got that turnover. It's unfortunate. Dobbs was in at quarterback at that point. We had a penalty on Bell holding. We had a good pass to Tay Martin, which again, like I said earlier, Tay did really good this game. But it was a 3-and-out. Our sixth defensive play, more poor defensive play, missed tackles, but we did finally get the Titans to have to punt. They hadn't punted at that point. Our offensive series after that, good catch by Tongas. I'm again slaughtering names. We got a first down on that one. Breida finally was in the game. He had a few yards on the first carry and a few yards on his second carry. Another one from Tongas, but then we had to punt. So Breida's first series that he was in, 2 carries for 4 yards. But again, this is preseason. We'll see how that goes. Our seventh defensive round, QB had their QB ran. Huge gain, a lot of yards. We couldn't get him down. And then we had McGill with the offsides, more poor tackling. But then that series we got a sack. Davis got a sack, which was awesome. Got a stop on 4th and 1. Got a stop on a 3rd and 1, which caused a 4th and 1, and they had to kick a field goal. Our 7th offensive round, Tay Martin again, long catch, but then the next play fumbled by Breida. So that's not great for Breida. Again, this is just preseason, so we'll see how that goes. Trent Taylor had a long pass for a first down. Tongas, his number was 88, by the way. He had a great catch. And then Trent Taylor again had a jet sweep for a first down. And then Dobbs got a TD by running it in. They went for 2, and Unfortunately, they didn't get it, but I didn't get to see that we didn't get it right away because how I was watching my what I was watching decided to die right then and there. So it took me a little bit to get it back up. So I got it back up on our while we were on defense for the 8th time. So I missed a little bit of the game, not enough to worry about. But yeah, that was. Here I am thinking, oh yeah, let's go, let's go. Ah! I'm sure we've all had that. It's not pleasant, but oh well, part of the game. Um, So our 8th defensive round, Rock Ya-Sin had a good tackle. Unfortunately, flag holding and illegal contact by they took the illegal contact by Walker. Held them on 4th down. Good play by Brown and Garvin. On our 8th offensive try, Tay Martin, 1st down catch. Awesome again for Tay Martin. Breida had a good screen. They went for it on 4th and 5, but Dobbs got sacked. So it was at least a worthy try. I'm surprised we didn't go for more 4th downs during this game, but it is what it is. And then our last defense and offensive plays. Defense again, our ninth defensive series. Poor tackling. Walker did have a good tackle though, and we did hold him to a 4th down. The thing I liked right there that when we held them to that 4th down, former linebacker from Seattle that we now have as a coach, KJ Wright, reminded me of how our defensive line used to get excited about on the sidelines, how our coaching staff, how Saleh. Do you remember back in the day, several years ago when Saleh was still our defensive coordinator, and they'd have a great play, and you'd see him jumping up and down, yeah, great job, showing that energy. That's what I saw from KJ Wright. That's what I think we need to have on our team, and I'm happy he's showing it. I'm happy he's doing it. We need that energy. That energy transfers to our defensive players, and they take that back out on the field. That's what I think we were missing last year with Wilks. Wilks didn't show that great, that mentality. I know we still were a good defense last year, but I think that just carried over from the previous years. I'm hoping with our new defensive coordinator and with KJ Wright being on the if he's going to act, I'm happy. I am thrilled with that idea. So let's show that awesomeness. Let's show that spirit. Let's show that energy. Keep it going. So our last series as offense, Tay Martin had a good 1st down. Latu had some good catches. I'm happy to see Latu out there. Taylor, another 1st down twice. Then we had a flag. And then trying to come back on a 4th and 4 or 4th and 5 with just a second to go. Dobbs tried to get one in the end zone, and it was intercepted. But at least he gave it a shot. I think overall Dobbs did really good this game as well as Allen. So by the end of the game, I was thinking it was pretty tied, trying to figure out who QB2 is going to be. I still think in the end it's going to be Allen, but just because I think Dobbs is going to show us in the next game or so that bad game that he tends to have. But we'll see. I like Allen a lot. And maybe next game we'll see a little bit of that other quarterback that we picked up, Tanner Mordecai. He's from here in Wisconsin, where I'm at least that's where he went to school for a year. And he did okay. I wasn't really thrilled with him here as a Badger, but he did okay. But we'll see how maybe we'll get hit. We'll see him on the field next game. All right. It was awesome to watch game. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And it's going to be a lot easier doing some of these podcasts once a week with games going on. That was definitely a lot easier than I usually had my. I had started doing a um, list. I'd go through everything I could find, what happened that whole week, and I'd put almost like a script that I'd have on half of my screen so I could read it as I'm going and make my own additional comments and such like that. I didn't need to do that this week, which is awesome. When there's a game week, the most I'll have to do is again take my notes during the game and I can go over it, tell you how every series went, how I thought it went, where I think they can improve or not, whatnot. But again, they need to work on their tackling. They need to work on special teams. I think the offenses were okay. Tay Martin did great. Um, I think some of our rookies did really good this game. Mustafa, I think did awesome. Pooney did awesome. I think we're showing promise, and it'll just get better in the next couple of games. So until then, until next week, remember before you go to subscribe. I need 7 more subscribers so I can go live while I'm at the Vikings game week 2. So help a guy out, help Faithful out, like, comment, and subscribe. Help me out. Talk to y'all next week. Have a great one. Go Niners.